Hi guys, and welcome to Market Breakdown here on the KC YouTube channel. My name's Rekt Defi and I'm a resident analyst in the CryptoKingdom community. So to begin with, we're just going to take a quick look at Bitcoin, take a look at Ethereum as well, look at the total market cap and potentially a bit of Bitcoin dominance. I'm not going to go too much over the altcoins today because I think when you're doing your analysis, you can gauge your directional bias just by looking at Bitcoin. You don't really need to look much further, in my opinion. The altcoins tend to just be a little bit more volatile percentage-wise, just due to the lower liquidity and lower market caps. But like I say, usually what Bitcoin does, the rest of them follow. Cardano, AVAX, Matic, whatever you're looking at. So you've just got to be a little bit wary of that. You might get whipsawed on an altcoin. If you look, and Bitcoin has, a quick sharp 2-3% move to the upside, takes out shorters, you might find that Matic or something a little more volatile had a 6% or a 7% swing to the upside. And so, you have to be careful of that, especially if you trade on leverage, because you are liable to get whipsawed a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot quicker. Which basically, it does make it harder to trade, in my opinion. You just have to account for it because your winners will be exponentially bigger because the percentage moves you gain are more. But in my opinion, I'm not a fan of trading altcoins. The liquidity is pretty low in comparison. I'm used to trading things like euro dollar or indices, which are some of the most liquid markets in the world. And even there, you get some slippage. So if you enter, I don't know, at 21.5k for Bitcoin, let's say, you might get slipped to 21.6k. So you're already, X amount of percentage or X amount of dollars down on your position at that point when you've entered, because your broker has slipped you by $100 on your entry point. And you're more liable for that with altcoins. So just getting that out of the way, I do still hold spot altcoins, but I just don't personally like to trade them unless there's a really nice setup. So starting on Bitcoin, I've just hidden my analysis for now, but I will put it on in a second. We're on the weekly time frame. So to me, this just looks absolutely hideous, and it has done for a long time. And to be honest, I'll make a lot of jokes on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, my @ is at Rekt, REKT __ DeFi, DEFI. I post a lot of my thoughts on there, just random little tweets, and I do come across as a bit of a bear on there, a bit of a perma bear, which I'm not. I'm a heavy proponent of crypto as an industry. However, as a professional trader and a full-time analyst, I want to say it's just hideous. You can't look at this chart and think you're bullish just because of X, Y, and Z reasons that you read online. You have to look at a chart, remain objective, and say, well, this is gross. And in my opinion, my downside targets are a hell of a lot lower than what we're at right now. Having said that, I will trade intraday positions to the upside or downside, regardless of my bias. So I am bearish long term at the moment until we break daily structure to the upside, which I'll go into a little bit more detail in a second. But I will still trade upside, downside, whatever I see. So on the weekly time frame, we're still in weekly bearish structure. So this is our last fractal high on the weekly and our last fractal low. So this candle and this candle, that's our tradable range right now. Bearish structure broke through this low here, which was the last point of market structure on the weekly. Broke through pretty emphatically. There was very little support at this level. Price just broke through, one-sided price action. And you see that week, Bitcoin lost 26.71% of its value. So there wasn't very little support. There was no support at this level. So this is clearly bearish structure on the weekly. Let me just shove my analysis back on. So you can see I've got weekly range high marked out and weekly range low. There's a load of things in between, so just ignore those for now. And we'll jump down on the daily. Zoom into the price action a little bit. So these blue lines, they're just daily levels, historic price action where prices flipped or turned or something. So you can see we've got these lows on the daily. I think, provided some resistance over here, some support here. This little bit of resistance there, support, resistance. You can just see these are areas where price seemingly bounced for, I want to say, if you could see me, I'm doing quotation marks, my fingers, but quote unquote, price bounced from these levels or turned without reason, sort of thing. But in the markets, in my opinion, there's never a without reason. There's always a reason. So just having those marked out just potentially can narrow down your vision, see where you want to look to enter a longer term position. So again, we're in bearish structure on the daily. So last daily fractal high is here, broke structure down here. So this was last daily fractal low, and then we cake through there. Again, very little support when we come to this area. Price just literally cake through it. Lost 13.82% on that day. So literally one-sided again, forming this new daily range. So daily structure high here, and the weekly range low is also our daily structure low. So until we've broken out of this range on the daily, either way, my bias is bearish because we are in bearish structure. Now, is that going to say that we're not having these upswings within? Of course not. Price doesn't move one way. I know on days like this it moves one way, but in the grand scheme of things, price will flicker back and forth before in a contractive move before taking its next leg or its expansive move, which is what I'm expecting to the downside now. So I am expecting price to come take out these lows. Something like this, maybe finding support and resistance at these levels, providing potential entries. You might be able to long here, might find like a 61.8 fibs, something up here, short, and then another entry queue there, something like that. That's how we're going to build our picture moving forward for the next couple of weeks. So something that I really like at the moment is if we just bang premium discount. So I'm just marking out the top 25% of the range and the bottom 25% of the range. You can see on my fib I've got 25 and 75. So that's 75% of this range here. If I just put that in a box just so you can see more clearly, that's a premium of this range. So this is a bearish range. We're looking for lower prices, but price keeps pushing higher into this premium level. We can short more comfortably up from up here because within this range, it's a higher price. So if you start shorting the lows, you're pretty much going to get whipsawed out. You're never going to make any money. If you're impatient and you're jumping in at any given opportunity, if you're patient and you wait for price to come and give you a better price within the bearish range, you're more likely to get a higher R trade, which basically means if you hold your position, it's going to keep going in your favor. And therefore, if you risk $1,000, let's say, in a position, you might get a 3R, which is $3,000 payout. If you've managed to wait for a better entry price in premium or a discount area, for example, of daily structure, you might then get a 6R, 7R, 8R, 10R, and then get a higher payout. Patience pays. Don't understate that. And then what I really like about this at the moment for a short is that we've swept the liquidity above those highs and failed to close above it. This chart's a little bit different to another Bitcoin chart. Let me open my other one that I do use. Actually, is it this one? Don't even know if it's this one. You can see, obviously, you've swept those highs, and that pin bar is a hell of a lot more bearish than this one here. But they both tell the same story, both in premium of the range, both sweep the liquidity above these highs. So anybody who was short, down here, who had their stop above this high, or anybody who's trying to buy the breakout of this false range here, they got activated, they got triggered, and then price closed below. Yeah. So this is why I'm not a fan of breakout trading. You're asking yourself to get stopped out because as soon as price breaks above this level, you would buy, and all it is a fake out this prior daily high. So taking the bigger picture into mind always. We also failed to close above this daily level here. So you can just call it 22K, but the actual level I've got marked is 21,910. Failed to close above there, so we've got the confluence of failing to close into a daily level. Still in bearish structure. We're in the premium of that bearish structure on the daily. We've swept these daily highs. We've taken this liquidity. To pair buyers and sellers, you need liquidity. So if there's too many buyers in the market, obviously price is going to go up because there's no sellers. Too many sellers, price is obviously going to go down because it's trying to find those buyers at those levels. So here this could be super bearish because they're pushing price into liquidity. As soon as that liquidity is there, there's a lot of buyers up here as people buy their way out of shorts or as people buy the breakout. That then pairs with the shorters, the whales who need that liquidity, and then bang, they can execute their position and off we go. So I just need to move my structure points on here, I believe. Let's get rid of that because we don't need that. So the H4 structure has actually changed now. So this is our H4 structure high. H4 structure high there, and our H4 structure low, last fractal low. There we go. So this is our H4 operation range. So I prefer to execute on lower time frames like the 3, 5, and 15 minute, using my higher time frame structure. So what I would really like to see around here is a test on this level again. I don't really want to see this high get swept, this H4 structure high. But again, what we can do, where's premium of this range? Okay, premium of this range is right here. Okay, up at this daily high that got swept and up at this daily level. We've also got these poor highs here. So these poor highs that they can get swept for liquidity. So what I would love to see up here, although I don't think that we're going to get it in all honesty, sweep, break of structure on the lower time frame and move to the downside. That's what I would like to see. However, having said that, we jump lower. We did already take this liquidity above this daily high, and to me, that's all we really need. On the hourly time frame, we ran up, broke structure. This could be where you could execute on this pullback here, yeah, or jumping up even lower. I think 15 minutes pretty similar, to be honest. 15-minute order block is this huge candle here. Pull that up. So this is somewhere where I'd be looking to operate, trade that blind, or jump on a lower time frame and look for the same thing. So what I like to see is a high, a sweep of that high, so price pushes higher, then straight after emphatically breaks structure to the downside, returns up, and then bang, and that would be your entry cue. So sweep here for liquidity, and then that's where you would enter, and vice versa. If we just flip that upside down, just flip it upside down, same thing to the upside. So form a low, sweep of the low, break a structure, and then that's where you would execute. That's what I'd be looking to do. But yeah, that's Bitcoin right now. My downside targets at the moment are 19,887. I do think we're going to see that pretty much early in the week. A lot of people analyze with I don't want to say things that don't work, because they definitely work if you can make them work. But a common pattern here would be a bullish pennant. But to me, everything else about this is bearish. So I don't see why this would form a bullish move here, but essentially what people look for here is a breakout to the upside. But what I would be looking for is a potential break, sweep of highs, and then down, something like that. Yeah. I mean, you can hold it against me if this does rocket, it does keep going higher, but I just don't see that happening right now. You got to remember, I'm coming from a forex and an indices background, so I stay up to date with relevant world data and macroeconomic updates, and the world does not look good right now. So that's another reason why I'm super bearish. And yeah, just try and change my mind, because it's not going to happen. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. I don't know any analysis in this. Hold on. I changed my chart colors the other day, so a little bit wrong. Okay, we'll just start from scratch. I'm probably not going to have time to go over the total market cap and dominance, just because you can see, recording in the top corner, I've only got a 20-minute time limit, so I don't think we'll have time. But to be honest, with Bitcoin dominance, I'm just expecting a higher percentage. I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to rise and total market cap to continue losing value. Essentially, that's all I'm looking for. So Ethereum on the weekly time frame, the weekly range is absolutely massive. So weekly range high is still up here. It's the last fractal high. So we have a weekly structural high, and then weekly range low is this low down here. So now we've got a weekly range mapped out. So bearish structure. There's no sort of bounces in this. I mean, that's absolutely disgusting. In this one range, we've gone from $3,500 down to what was the low, 879. Like, that's absolutely disgusting. On the daily time frame, our range high is pretty significant because it's over here. So this is where ETH and Bitcoin start to look a little bit differently. I did mention this in one of my Discord posts the other day, how different they look. I'm just going to change my candles as well a little bit, because I prefer them a little bit grey. It's easier to see. So our daily structural high, so we come down and form this fractal low here. And then you see this is a fractal high because this candle is higher than the candle to the left and the right. So that's our fractal high. And then we come down, we break this structure again, forming our new daily range. So our daily structural high is this candle here. Daily structural low is the same as the weekly range low. Now you can see we've come and failed to close into this daily structural high twice. So that's still bearish. However, when you look at it on Bitcoin, you can see it looks completely different. And the daily structural high is still a little bit higher. So if we, even if, wrong ETH, even if we come up and close above this level, if we don't on Bitcoin, remember I said at the beginning of the video, if something doesn't happen on Bitcoin, odds are it doesn't happen on the altcoins. And that still rings true with Ethereum as well. The liquidity for ETH is a lot lower than it is for Bitcoin, so I still expect it to follow suit. Having said that, this is still super bearish in my opinion. So it's bearish weekly, bearish daily structure. We are in premium of this level. We're failing to close into there. I haven't got any daily levels set on my chart, but we could use that for example. You can see this level sort of over here. It doesn't have to be to the pip or to the tick, but pretty much this level is like a sort of zone. So we found support there. And support over here, obviously cap price here, cap price there, sort of traded through it a little bit here, and then cap price to the underside there. And it also was around all-time highs back in 2017. So it's a pretty significant level, and that's what we're rejecting now, and we're failing to close into there. Jumping on the lower H4, H4 structure would be H4 structural low here, and H4 structural high up here. Yeah. So again, our range of operation, we're currently sitting at EQ there. That looks to me to be 50%. Yeah, so just under 50%. So what I would like to see is a little sweep higher before breaking lower on ETH. So potentially this high. So if we can come up here, look for a little bit of liquidity up there at this level. Let's put that in the middle. Something like this. Run up, close below, break a structure. Again, that's exactly what I was talking about. I didn't draw it the best. So we'll have the high, the high, sweep of the high, take that, break structure to the downside, and then that would be your entry queue right there. Okay, so that's the sort of thing that I'm looking at for Ethereum. To be honest, I haven't traded ETH. I think I took a position on it the other day. Didn't get tagged, but apart from that, I haven't traded ETH in a few weeks. I want to say it's been Bitcoin and the Nasdaq mainly. But ETH can produce some real good trades or some real good price action. So I do like to keep it on my radar. But again, that's sort of what I'm looking for at the moment. In terms of targets, we're looking, this is sort of a level in itself. So you can see failure to close past here. Bounces pretty much perfectly there. That's where I've set the level, and failure to close past there as well on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive days. Let's go back in time. There we go. Look at that level. Perfect. Bang on. Failure to close past. Failure to close into. Might not be as much here. Yeah, it doesn't really, not really applicable in that scenario. Still a decent level nevertheless. So yeah, that'd be my first target. My second target would be the weekly range low. If we break below there and close below on the weekly, obviously our weekly range then becomes much shorter or smaller. And if our weekly range, let's say we do this, and our new weekly range is like that, and we start chopping around, that's when I'd be looking for a break to the upside, reversal, and a longer term. Because at the minute, if you look at the size of this weekly range, it's very unlikely that we're anytime soon going to have a break of weekly structure to the upside. So this is going to be bearish for a hell of a long time unless we break lower, form a new weekly range, have some accumulation. So accumulation, manipulation, so break lower and then falls higher. And then we'll go to not falls higher, falls lower, sorry, and then break to the upside. And that's when we have the distribution, when price regains fair value by going back to the upside. But yeah, that's everything on Bitcoin and ETH at the moment. If anything that I've if you've got any questions about anything that I've discussed, because I do get that I haven't got enough time to go over every concept that I use in my trading, and I've been doing this for years. So if there's anything that you didn't understand or you want to know a little bit more about, just drop me a message on Twitter or drop me a message on Discord, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.